Hola, amigos.
Buenas noches. There's been some suffering, and you have found us. Although not this week with Lower Decks. I quite like this week's episode of Lower Decks.
Yeah.
We'll come on to that in a moment. How the devil are we? Well, first of all, we've got to always say hello to everybody who's watching the show on the rerun, and just remind them that please don't call in because your vote won't count, and you may still be charged.
And also, the value of your investment may go down as well as up.
But if you are watching this, now we're flying a little bit blind tonight because Facebook user.
Yeah. What's going on here?
It would appear that anyone who's watching via Facebook
have to give us one name. Say, good evening, gents, from whoever.
So I think basically we're going to have to try and decipher from your comments who you are. I can't see this going wrong. Not at all. I can't see this going wrong.
I mean, we've blatantly already got, Patrick Stewart's in the room, obviously. Bill Shatner's there, I noticed, and
former German Chancellor Angela Merkel.
And here's Denise Richards. Marvelous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The late George Gaines, he's dialed in.
Yeah. Oh, look, here's Lord Lucan. I didn't even know he had a Facebook account.
Marvelous. I thought he was in Australia.
Lord Lucan?
Yeah.
No, Lord
You've
Lucan.
not been following the 3-part documentary about Lucan by some chap who claims to be descended from the nanny.
Good God, I wouldn't watch that sort of shit. No. I've got much better things to be doing. Yes. Right, so where are we? So, okay, we're having technical difficulties with Facebook user. So perhaps perhaps we shouldn't try and we should just roll with it. I was going to say they could put their names or whatever, but if you're watching the show for the first time, normally this does work and we can see who you are. But please pop in the comments if you've never said hello before. Please do say hello. Let us know where you're from. We'd love to know your favorite series and your favorite character. We love all that kind of stuff, especially from our international audience, because that's kind of why we do this. It's bringing the community together. So this week, chaps, I mean, yep, obviously it's been a slow Trek week, apart from we've had 20 minutes of Lower Decks come down, which was marvelous. But what else? Well, we'll move on to Lower Decks. What else have you been doing Trek-wise this week?
Well, I've been out in the hangar upgrading the storage facilities for our shuttle.
Been watching any old Trek? Or Golden Trek, as I like to call it?
I did watch an episode of DS9 the other day, but it didn't make any impression on me. It was the one where Dr. Bashir sends Jake and Nog off to retrieve his teddy bear from Lita.
Oh, and they keep having to go round people to get things, don't they?
That's right, yeah.
Where we first meet a self-sealing stem bolt, isn't it?
No.
It's the first time we see one, though. I'm sure it's the first time we actually see.
That's a different one.
Oh, I thought it's the first time we actually
with like a huge container of them or something.
Mm.
No, yes, they end up with a plot of land that Quark wants, and he finds it belongs to the J-Nog Consortium.
Mm.
It's a nice one of the things I feel they did very well in Deep Space Nine is obviously they told a saga of a war story.
That's the name of the teddy bear.
And as always, when you have an ongoing war saga, you do need some light relief to remind you what life is like without war. So they do throw in these episodes from time to time, especially the casino episodes with Vic Fontaine. That was always a very good counterpoint to the war. So they did that very well. And, did you enjoy it? Although it didn't make an impression on you.
Yes, I did. It was easy watching. It was like a warm, comfortable, familiar blanket.
How about you, Carl?
Well, the only bit of Trek I did this week was it was actually based on this. So I've had a very busy week, but what I do have on my Amazon Music account is a Star Trek playlist set up, and within that playlist is practically the entire soundtrack to The Visitor from DS9. So I did have that on the other morning while I was working in the office playing away. Some fantastic music from that episode, which, Tony Todd, one of his great episodes.
Yes, sad to hear that the Candyman, Worf's older brother, I want to say Kern.
That's right, Kern.
Yeah.
Also, he played Hirogen Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very talented, large man, Tony Todd. Very, very
Only 69 years old. Really not very old at all.
What's the average these days? I don't know.
Oh, well into the 80s.
Well, very sad that Tony Todd has passed away. We had a very Klingon-heavy episode of Lower Decks. I have to admit, after the first initial episode of Lower Decks, which I thoroughly enjoyed, I felt the others were punching below their weight a little bit. I didn't think they were very good, and I had to struggle. I had to force myself to sit down and watch this episode, but I was glad I did, because we had Klingons being proper Klingons, being comedy Klingons, roughy tufty Klingons, and we had pain sticks and honor and gach and targs and all kinds of stuff. It was
Poetry?
I don't know any Klingon poetry, no. But it was a great episode, and we actually had a decent counterplot with the chicken, where he gave food to other chickens and they didn't like it. Okay, it wasn't a good counterplot, but we had a counterplot.
Appears to have ruffled your feathers slightly. Oh,
yeah. But it got me thinking, though. Do you remember we were lucky enough to interview James Swallow?
Yes.
And I said to him, when you're writing like the Titan books and all the rest of it, it was the Titan ones he wrote. Anyway, he wrote the canonically follow-on ones from the Titan, and he said, when we think of aliens, we never ever, like if we're writing an alien, we never ever think how are they going to do this on screen. That doesn't come into our kind of thought process. And I remember some of the weird aliens they managed to get into Star Trek, the animated series, which just wouldn't have been doable on screen.
3 arms.
Yeah, and the chicken thing. Like probably you could do, but it would cost a bit too much for it not to look like absolute gash. So and I remember James told us that he wrote a character, an alien species who were basically just a ball of gas in a suit. Do you remember? He said it had a dome suit. It was just a ball of gas floating around and stuff like that. And that the writers will literally do anything they. And these days, I think that's less of a. I think these days, because VFX and stuff are so good, if you can think it, they can do it. You know,
Isn't there a character who's a ball of gas on Prodigy?
Yeah, Zero. The Medusa.
Gas in a suit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he's not quite gas, is he? But he's that sort of look.
Did a he? I thought it was a. Well,
He,
anyway.
it, they.
Don't assume anybody's pronouns.
Let's stay off of that topic.
Yes, I've had enough re-education on that this week. Thank you.
And I've been watching my Enterprise rewatch. I've now finished season 3. The India have been defeated or made friends with. And now we've got some Nazis. And we all know where we stand with Nazis. They're the baddies. This is the thing. I love season 3 of Enterprise, but it's a bit too much. Well, who are actually the baddies here? Is it the lizard men eating their mice alive? And that's hilarious. That scene. That's absolute. My kids were horrified. It was great. Absolutely marvelous. But you get to the end of it, and you think, well, were there any baddies? And then, right, we need to sort out some proper baddies. Nazis. You can't go wrong with Nazis. Definitely the baddies. There's no question. They even had skull and crossbones on their helmets.
A friend of mine wrote a story called Attack of the Sky City Super Nazis, which presumed that the Nazis had a space station they'd launched in the 40s before the end of World War II, and they were coming back. And then someone released the film Iron Sky, which was basically the same plot, but they were on the moon.
Well, Nazis on the moon, that story's been around for ages.
Yes, no. Attack of the Sky City Super Nazis predated Iron Sky.
I thought Iron Sky was based on either a comic or a graphic novel or something that had been around for a long time. I could be wrong. I'm sure Facebook user will tell us.
I mean, it could be that the Nazis are still on the moon waiting to come back.
So let's have a quick look in the comments here. So Facebook users watch Star Trek, and that's my favourite Star Trek.
Choice. Yeah, very
film.
good choice.
Yeah, it's my favourite Star Trek film. So I'm guessing
Very underrated.
that's probably Rashid.
What's your favourite scene in Insurrection, Carl?
Sorry?
What's your favourite scene in Insurrection?
Oh, crikey. There's quite a few that I really like. I quite like the quick snippet of Worf when his phaser rifle stops working. He smashes the drone in the air and you're definitely feeling aggressive tendency, sir.
What's your favourite, James?
Oh, I think it's when Picard puts on the music and goes, no, something more lively. And then he merengues around the room.
Yeah.
My favourite's definitely when Data uses himself as a flotation device.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Congratulations, by the way, to our friends across the pond on your freedom of democratic choice.
It's weird. It's almost like destroying property and tearing down statues for the last 8 years haven't persuaded people to get rid of Trump. I don't know what they were thinking. Okay, we won't. Let's stay away from that. Let's stay away from that. Smooth and Android bottom, yes. Hi guys. So Facebook user, we miss you too. I'm guessing. Oh, what if that's Nadim? If it is Nadim, he has literally been ticking off everything on my Japanese bucket list. I've loved watching it. At the same time, he's been. If he did the 7-star sleeper train, I'm actually going to have to kill him because I think that's the only thing I think he didn't do that's on my Japan bucket list. So it's good to see you, Nadim. Hi, Facebook user. How are you? Guessing the authors of Facebook comments. Well, I think we've done a good job so far. No one's told us we've been wrong.
That's obviously Tom Hanks.
I have to admit, season 5 hasn't been good in my opinion. I think that's Christoph. I think that's a Christoph comment. This is one that's lost on me. Sorry, my phone. This must. Yes,
like that.
This must be a youth. Yeah. My middle name is Nadim now. Do you know, I've never been.
Danger is my middle name.
Never been so jealous of Nadim's wife. Hi guys, that was me, Adam. But what was you, Adam? That's not. It really doesn't help.
What's wrong with this? Why is it not showing?
Who's wrong? That doesn't help.
You need to put your initials at the end of each comment.
People aren't getting how hard this game is, are they? Yeah, so I'm on to the Nazis now, which is good. You know where you stand with a good Nazi. Definitely the baddie. No getting away.
That's got the guy in that episode from the relevant time period. He was in a Voyager episode as well, wasn't he? And didn't he pass away earlier this year?
I'm not sure who you're referring to.
So in that episode with the Nazis indie, the guy that's helping them grab people and taking them to the warehouse.
Oh no! That you're thinking of a different episode. And you're thinking of Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who's Negan from the Walking Dead, who hasn't died.
Good.
See, there's all kinds of wrong. No, this is where they've defeated the Zindi. It's the last episode. It's season 4 has started, and they're 200 years in the past, and the Nazis have taken over America.
I know which one you're on. Yeah.
We're on the same train now.
We are now, yes.
Marvelous. So Facebook users absolutely loving Prodigy. Nearly finished. The last episode is particularly good. Save yourself your special packet of popcorn for that one. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, is it Chakotay heavy?
Very, very.
Does it reintroduce his medicine bundle?
No medicine bundle. Like we don't get any like the whole. I know.
Missed opportunity there.
Kuchi Moya.
I'd love to see his bundle, just one more time. For old time's sake.
Well, we saw Robert Beltran on stage at the premiere of the Voyager documentary the other day, didn't we?
Oh, has that happened?
Yes, they had some sort of event in the United States, which is in North America, and
middle.
I saw Mike
Actually,
Akuda posting some pictures.
Before you go on, I can we just sort this out, right? Because I look on a map, you go North America,
Yeah,
and North America is clearly in the middle. But
well,
Central
if you look at the
is-
Americas, it looks a bit like an hourglass shape. So the bit above the pinch, I call the North Americas, and the bit below is the South Americas.
So basically, you're saying Mexico is the only bit that's Central America.
because that's the bit on the equator.
Yeah, the bit where the Panama Canal is, which is presumably
Okay.
Panama, being the narrowest point.
That's the bit I always look for. Sorry, continue.
Forgotten now.
I rudely interrupted you whilst you were talking about Chakotay's very bulging.
Oh,
medicine.
yeah, no, I was just saying that I'd seen a photograph of people on stage at an event for the Voyager documentary, which, after years and years of fundraising, has come out to enormous fanfare. So much so that I saw it as a fleeting comment on my Facebook feed.
So we think the Voyager documentary might actually be released 3 years later then.
Yeah, well, there has been some talk. I think we spoke about it last time that you could, for enormous cost, book yourself a seat at some cinema in the UK to watch.
That's right, because we haven't been invited gratis, which we normally do to these events. So I'm predicting the UK one will be an utter failure.
Oh, undoubtedly.
A complete and utter failure.
Let me see if I can find out who's hosting it.
I'll give you a clue. It's not us. Which, again, is a fatal error on their part.
It'd be funny if it's Dan and he's forgotten to mention it to us.
What was the last one? We went to the Picard one, didn't we?
Yeah, that was. Oh, it was that awful Alex Zane.
Yes.
That was the
quite
white carpet event.
Because I was able to completely embarrass friend of the show, Tony Lee, on the red carpet by threatening to do a selfie on the red carpet with Jerry Ryan. It's like, don't you dare, you'll get me thrown out. I'm going to do it, Tony. Don't you dare. I'm going to do it. That was quite surreal walking down that red carpet, actually. I've never been on a red, well, it was a white carpet.
Oh, I've got a great bit of video of you guys walking down the carpet in front of us.
It's so good that we went back and did it again, didn't we?
Oh, yeah.
Have you got a bit of video you can show us?
I'll try and dig it out, yeah.
Okay. Well, I need to get a drink. So James is going to tell us all about the Voyager documentary and the presentation that he's clued up on that happened in America, whilst Carl digs out the video.
You can certainly try. I mean, I've already told you everything I know.
Well, make some stuff up.
I'll make some stuff up. Okay.
Yeah.
So there was an elephant. There was a Messerschmitt that flew in. And there were a number of people, including Mike and Denise Akuda, who are great friends of the show, huge fans of their work. They're in the art department for most of the Star Trek series. I think Rick Sternbach was there because he, of course, designed Voyager. And there's a couple of designs of Voyager, including one that you can get as an Eagle Moss special if you can find one of their bankrupt stock examples. But yes, there were, I don't know, 36 people on the stage in a very low-res photograph, but I could pick out the magnificent hunky man that is Robert Beltran on the stage. And that's all I can tell you, really. I don't know anything about this documentary. I know they've been going on and on about it for years and demanding money to make it. And I suspect it's going to prove to not actually be that terribly interesting. But I could be wrong.
We did get a snippet of it the other week, didn't we?
Did we?
Yeah, they gave us a trailer where it was Garrett Wang going around the old Paramount lot.
Was he still an ensign?
Oh yeah, without a shadow of a doubt.
Well, if
Is
the
it
documentary,
23 years since they finished Voyager?
if it's anything like the DS9 documentary, I really enjoyed that. I thought it was superb, and I thought it gave us an unprecedented insight into the writing process. So I really hope. Well, to be fair, they may not write it the same way. They may not break an episode the way, but either way, I'm really looking forward to it. So let's just
We're
fish
not
into
going to pay
the
200
comments.
quid to go and watch it, though, are we?
Fish into the comments a little bit more here. So,
I'm not seeing very many coming up.
guess the user, Admiral on deck. Oh, that must be Miles Jackson. He's an admiral, isn't he?
He is.
Yep. The LA premiere of the Voyager documentary started with a tribute to Jerry Taylor, who ripped to some 2 weeks ago now. Didn't
Passed away, yes.
I thought Dawn Velasquez died? She died as well, or have I got that wrong? But we won't see it this year. Probably they're still doing some footage upscaling and likes.
Well, hang on. If it's been premiered, why is there still upscaling work going on? What's this crazy talk?
Very strange.
I don't know. Mars said, "Yeah, I was right. Get in." That's
Nice.
1-0 to me, guys.
Miles.
Yeah, fantastic. And the next documentary that team will do is on Michael Westmore. And they're expecting an Ian nose and throat documentary.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, I'd like it. I love Enterprise. I think it's fantastic. Can
think they'll do
anyone
a
else
martial
explain
arts?
to me how Enterprise was cancelled after season 4, but they churned out 5 seasons of that Discovery rubbish? It's just just baffles the brain, doesn't it?
Or 20 years worth of keeping up with the Cardassians.
To be fair, I can't pass judgment on that because I've never seen it. So, but I have seen. Is it Kim Kardashian? Is she the one, the head Kardashian? She's head of the table.
No, that's Golda Cat is the head Cardassian.
I saw a woman with a large bottom on the internet, and I thought, well, I could watch that show. It's nothing because you can get fooled. I sat down. I sat through 3 episodes, 3 hours worth of Desperate Housewives. Ain't nothing like you think it's going to be. Just sit around drinking coffee and talking. Like it's just it's just an absolute con. So Facebook user says premiere is a wibbly wobbly term. It was a screening of where they stand in the editing process. So even the premiere wasn't actually a premiere yet.
So it's just we're in the middle of making it still.
I'm yeah, I mean, Gary, I don't want to be rude about Gary's a backer, and Gary's backed it. And we have him to thank for the Voyager documentary if we ever get it. I'm astonished because Gary's a premium backer, I believe, that he hasn't been invited to the UK premiere of not the premiere of where they stand during the editing process.
Has there been a UK premiere scheduled that people have been invited to? Gary, can you tell us?
Well, it's not going to be a premiere, is it now? So, did that photo? I can't remember what. I've seen a photo of her. She had a good bottom. That's all I can
Is
remember.
that the one where her bottom looks like it's a shelf?
Something I can't remember. I remember thinking, "Yep, that's a good bottom." No, first class, but that's it. I can't remember. Facebook user, speaking of other series, this summer Disney Plus gave us another new Futurama season. Yeah, it was. It was really good. I enjoyed it actually. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was getting back to its roots a little bit, and I love the way that they said at the end, "Don't worry, although this season's been rubbish, another network will pick us up next year," which was marvelous. But still no word on the Orville. Sadly, that looks like it's not coming back.
Was there? I thought we'd heard that it had been I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Kim Kardashian. So, James, we've got tentative news possibly to share
What about Manston?
about Manson. So, James and I, well, the last time you came to visit us, Carl, do you recall we took you to the Spitfire Museum?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yes, do you remember you went, Achtung, Spitfire!
Schnell, schnell!
And,
Boris Jones!
and do you
For
recall?
you, gentlemen, the war is over.
Do you recall that next to the Spitfire Museum, there was the RAF War History Museum that we didn't go into because you had to pay. Sorry, we didn't have enough time.
It's got a big chopper in there, and we love choppers on this show.
Massive chopper. They've got several. So the RAF History Museum next year are going to be hosting, as a trial, their first ever Comic Con
Yes.
at the
Yes, who's
History
been
Museum.
invited?
And guess who's they've reached out to Captain Admiral Dillon, and they've said to him that basically they would very much like Riker's beard to be involved.
Very nice.
So if we can't somehow tie this into a Riker con, then we need someone else steering the ship, because this is prime opportunity. I can't remember what the dates were, but as soon as anything is properly confirmed, we'll pop them up on the page so you can add them to your save the date. If you're, but it looks like the museum is going to be taken over to be a sci-fi museum with the full Riker's beard sets and props and toys, and we'll want as many crewmen there as possible in uniform supporting us.
Yes, it'll be tremendous fun if it comes off. It's a zinger.
Just can't do the damn little. Right. So this is Manston, which is in Thanet. Manston, RAF Manston History Museum. It's generally, it's a really good museum. There's two museums on the old airfield. There's the Spitfire Museum, which is superb. Free to enter. If you want to visit, go and visit. Make sure you donate, because they go purely on donations. And next to it is the RAF History War Museum, which is generally, it's a really good museum. It's run by volunteers again, and we'll do our best to support it any way we can. I'm sure we will, James.
Yes, it does seem like fun. Oh, hang on. News from Gary. Only 2 weeks away.
I mean, well, the website says it's 14th to 15th of June. Oh, I didn't even know
they've already published it, have they?
I didn't even know they'd started publishing it yet. So there we are.
Yeah, and ironically, Portsmouth, who've booked us some weeks ago, haven't put anything up at all about us yet.
We're fully booked for that, are we?
We are booked, and we sent them all our media that they requested, and they haven't put any of it up.
Not even our helicopters.
Not even our massive choppers.
That must be Alan that's given us this website info. He's usually good for a link, isn't he, Alan?
I've got to. There's going to be a new feature next week. Okay, it's not happening this week, so I've not had time to do it. It's been too busy. Actually, I'm really busy. Soon there'll be a new feature. As you're well aware, I'm now captain of the Riker's Beard since James has been promoted to admiral, and my presence on the ship is for temporal violations, and I've come across a really, really bad offender. Okay. And I've got some archive footage of him that I'm going to show, but it's not for children. So I've been tracking this guy down now for some time, and I think I'm getting close. But I've got some footage of what he's been up to. Okay, which I'm going to show you next week. Basically, this imposter has gone back in time, has been impersonating a member of Sesame Street in the most awful way. In the most awful way imaginable. So I'm going to next week. I'm going to show you the footage that I have, and hopefully, with the power of the internet, we can track this imposter down. But it's not for children. Okay, I'm sad I'm going to have to show it to you all. But next week, Temporal Violations is going to be out in full force. But in the meantime, who would like to play a game?
Oh, I would like to play a game.
Yeah.
We love a good game.
What about Facebook user? Would you like to play a game?
Want to play a game?
It's time to play Airlock 101. It's quite simple. James and Carl will choose something Star Trek related that they wish had never happened, and it will be relegated to Airlock 101, which means it'll be erased for all time. The rules are quite simple. Nothing Discovery related, James. Nothing Discovery related. Okay. So far we've had, I think, Beverly Crusher's sex candle has gone into
Rose has gone,
and also, I believe, a friend of the show who was filling in for James, Tony, put in uniforms, which I'm not entirely certain. I mean, new trekking across. But he doesn't like us wearing uniforms. Casual Thursday every day. I don't know. So who'd like
for a game of elephant or snake?
Helicopter. Right. Okay. Right. Decide who's going to go first. James, in my right
your
hand,
left hand, please.
My left hand.
Your left hand.
And you think there's something in that?
Yes. Is it a plectrum?
No, it's nothing. You're wrong.
Oh.
This is, in fact, a monitor spacer. And Carl, you can choose if you'd like to go first or second.
I'll go first this week.
Okay. So if you're watching at home,
I know James has been out, so I don't know if he's had a chance to prepare. So
well, neither of us has had a chance to prepare.
James and Carl are both going to put forward their cases, what they would like to go into Airlock 101. It will be up to you, Facebook user, all of you, to decide essentially who wins and what's going into Airlock 101.
Okay.
So sit back and enjoy. How do I make Carl big?
Well, hang on. Do we get a particular topic, or is it just all of Star Trek?
No, just pick
Apart
something.
from Discovery, it can't be Discovery related, James.
Apart from right, okay, fine.
So this week I'm going to go with. You'll do. I'm going to go with this little morsel. I want this erased from Star Trek history.
Okay.
It's rubbish.
This is a coffee book table, isn't it?
Well, it's not even that big. It's like it's not coffee book size.
You could use it as a coaster.
I actually tend to use it a bit more as a wedge for things if I need a bit more height. I bought this because prior to this book coming out was the one that came out, The Wisdom of Picard, which was a very similar book. And, it was just like nice little quotes of Picard that were good pick-me-up, sort of like through the day. If you had to flick through it, be like, oh, yeah, of course, things aren't that bad. This is what Picard would do and all that. So I thought, I'll get this. It'd be something similar. It's called Starfleet Is. Well, this book definitely isn't.
Give us some samples, Carl.
Okay, so we start off with what I consider to be one of the best pages in the book. Starfleet is bold. Okay, I can live
No.
with that.
They spelled that wrong. He was actually bald. He wore a toupee.
Yep. Then they then go on to say Starfleet is forceful.
Okay.
Not a fan of that one. We'll go a couple of pages in, and we get that Starfleet is illogical. What? Really? Okay. Let's keep looking. The quality of the pictures ain't great.
Can I just quickly clarify a couple of things? You purchased this for yourself. It wasn't a present, so not shaming you.
No, I purchased this for myself.
And who is the accredited author? I'm really hoping it's not someone that's been on the show. Sorry, who?
Rob Perlman. The best Rob Perlman. The best part. But this is how wound up it's getting me. I'm using words like goodist. They don't exist.
Goodist, I think you'll find.
The best part about this book is the foreword by Kenneth Mitchell, in which he describes a conversation between him and Bill Shatner then sending him a tree. That's the best part about it. So once you've got past like page 5, there's no point. It's just the screen grabs are cheap and the pages are too glossy. They reflect. You can't really see the pictures properly. They're not great screen grabs that they've chosen for things. Just no. Get rid.
Okay, well, I'm sorry that's not a nice book. I have to admit, from what you've shown me, it does look like it's utter shit. So, yeah.
Like I say, after the first 5 pages, don't bother.
Right. Now, how do I move James over? There we are.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, before we turn on to my choice, in terms of terrible books, you might, Carl, enjoy this from my bookshelf.
The Tradition of the Rat's Night and what?
Night of the Crabs.
James, you and I went to the same university.
Why would I enjoy that, James?
That's not the book that went around Anne Boleyn Court, is it? That's.
So, I'll read you the sleeve notes on the back here. The Welsh coast.
One woman's struggle.
The Welsh coast basks in summer tranquility. Then the drownings begin. But not until the monstrous crustaceans crawl ashore, their pincers poised for destruction, does the world understand the threat it faces. A seafood cocktail for the strongest of stomachs.
And was this present a book, or was it something you bought?
I inherited this book.
What's the name of the author?
Who's the author? Guy N. Smith.
I was waiting for you to say Dr. Zoidberg.
You remember that really nice graphic novel I loaned you that I haven't had back yet?
What graphic novel did you loan me? I can't remember.
The Godzilla one.
Oh, well, I know it'll be on the bookshelf somewhere. I'll find it.
In return, I should like to borrow that crab book, please.
Oh, you know what? You can have it. Someone just put a link to it online. Anyway, what I would like to nominate for Airlock 101 as someone who has some experience of building props is meaningless controls that have no obvious function and no way of working out what they are. And
just a moment, James. Just a moment. Everyone remembers James said I could have that book, yeah?
Well, there you go. 215 quid worth of book.
Thank you very much, James. Sorry.
Wow.
I'll even sign it for you, Richard. Yes. So meaningless controls that have no function. Here's one of my many reference sources for the original series bridge that we've been working on for some time. And as you can see, not a single one of these buttons has any markings on it or any obvious way of working out what it's supposed to do. Yeah, if you were flying a ship, I mean, this is meaningless gibberish. It doesn't say anything on it. Look, there you go. So that's what I'm going to nominate. Meaningless buttons.
Meaningless buttons.
Meaningless buttons.
What would you have in their place?
Well, buttons that tell you what they do. Like, for example, this button fires phasers.
But you've already got a button for that. So what you can do with the space?
But you're in danger of getting rid of that button.
but we don't know which button it is. Here's the problem.
So-
I could
My
understand
argument
it
is
if you
against
replace that console with like a nice picture of your dog.
Hang on.
So my argument against yours,
okay.
James, I'm afraid,
Which
is
one
that
of these
it's not-
buttons fires the photon torpedoes?
So it's not that you want to get rid of the buttons. What you actually, deep down, what you really want is labels.
He wants
Yes.
a label maker.
All
Yeah.
right. So what I want to get rid of then is lack of labels.
There we are.
Clear, and not just that, clear labeling, clear
Mm.
signage. I hate it when there's not clear signage. It really annoys me. Whenever I go into Europe, signage isn't clear. They just assume that their weird left is right and right is left, and it's I'm with you on that.
Often they put them in a different language.
It quite often it's in a different language.
Mm.
I went to Wales earlier this year, and it's just because I'm me. We were stuck in a traffic jam and we sat there. I'm like they've got it in English and in Welsh. I'm like, well, fair enough. But everyone in Wales speaks English, or do they? Or do they? Does everyone in Wales? So I found out when they did the last census in Wales, I found out how much of the population in Wales can only speak Welsh. That's what they do these signs in Welsh for. Would you like to know how much the population of Wales speaks Welsh only without speaking English?
1%.
Less. It's 0.6. They may as well have it in fucking Klingon. So, if you'd like to vote now, would you like Carl's rubbish book to go into Airlock 101 or James's lack of clear signage aboard starships to go to? Remember, please, Facebook user, just put J for James or a C for Carl. And this is C for Carl if you want Carl's one to go into the Airlock 101. J for James if you want James's one to go into Airlock 101. So,
well, in the meantime, while people are voting, would you like to see that white carpet video?
Yes,
I
let's
have
have
tracked
it.
it down.
God, yes.
It's not great resolution, but
Roll
I have
VT.
found it. Here we go. Right, share a screen. Let me find the right one. Oh, hang on. That's not how we do it. Stop share. it's
I'm
going.
getting real seasick. What's going?
Ah, found it. There we go. Here we are. Hopefully we get some music doing it this way as well. You guys appeared just before the 1 minute mark, I believe.
Yes, it is the white carpet. We were walking directly behind Jerry Ryan's bottom, if I remember rightly. Jerry Ryan. Yes, we must have. Oh, do you remember we had that rubbish salad? No, Tony ordered the salad, and then the Barbie went on with it. Remember how?
Oh, that's us.
There we are. There's me waving. There's Tony.
Tony's thinking, how's your work?
Where's Carol and Sam?
We didn't get to have our picture next to that big sign. Why what?
There's the chap who never got to do anything.
Hey, he only made it through season 1, didn't he? Yeah, we got to interview Jerry Ryan as well. It was great.
It's nice that he wasn't in it.
He's always a very good
fun
value,
to
though.
interview.
Yeah.
Ian McKellen, who also wasn't in it.
The aforementioned Mr. Zane.
We were there, James, and we weren't in it. it's marvellous, Carl. Thank you.
Happy
That's
days, and just 2 months
memory lane
before
there.
COVID ruined our lives.
I mean, that was a thoroughly enjoyable evening. I remember the excitement and the anticipation was huge, and it was a lovely time with lovely people. And I'd had too much to drink, and
And I got you to go on a train, didn't I, Richard?
yeah, was that the time we had to change trains? That was.
There was a
remember
fatality
you
on
telling
the
me.
line, and we had an exciting alternative journey
Yeah.
involving taxis and things.
We had to get a taxi and a aeroplane. It was incredible. There was honestly, I literally was ready to go. I was like, I don't know what to do, James. Let's go home. He's like, no, we can do this, and we have to change lines. I'm like, but the line is there. He's like, no, there's a different line. We get in a taxi. We get on a different line. It was beyond my understanding, but we got there, and then Tony had a salad. It wasn't very nice. And then we watched only the first episode because we weren't allowed to watch the other ones. And then Patrick Stewart came out and couldn't remember anyone's name, and it was a bit awkward, if I remember rightly.
Yes.
But we had a wonderful evening. We should have probably got a hotel and stayed up there. But I remember more than anything else the excitement and the anticipation of there being new Star Trek with Jean-Luc Picard in. It was just we just never thought it'd happen. We were all so excited. We're all so thrilled. And when the opening sequence happened and you got to see the Enterprise D, I know it's a dream, but you got to see Enterprise D in a full 4K in the nebula. You're just like, oh, this is what we've been waiting for. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
Unsurprisingly, James, I'm afraid you have not won.
Well, I'll tell you what the reason for that is, shall I, Richard?
Oh, please do.
Because every week you ask me to put into Airlock 101 something about Star Trek that I don't like, but I love all of Star Trek, except, of course, Discovery. So it's very difficult for me to nominate something I don't like, because it's all brilliant, apart from Discovery.
That's fair enough. Maybe next week we can ask Facebook user to come on and challenge Carl. He is a very new champion.
I even thought I gave you a chance with that one.
That book looked like an utter turd, mate. That looked like.
It is. It's terrible.
How much did you pay for it?
About £8.
Sorry, may I ask a question to the panel? Which episode has the longest pre-title scene? We don't know, but Alan's watching and he will tell you.
He'll Google it for you.
Yeah.
I've got a suspicion that it's actually a Strange New Worlds episode.
Well, it would be he means the intro, doesn't he, for every episode?
No,
I think
pre-title scene before
the
the intro.
So
I think
you both talk at once, I can't decipher it. Well, one of you speak.
I think he means the amount of footage before the title sequence start.
Oh, like when you watched half the episode before they roll the.
Yes,
right,
that's
okay.
right.
You know, like with James Bond, where you see like a good 15-20 minutes of the film, and then they eventually roll the titles.
Yeah, I remember being in the cinema for Goldeneye, and when the plane comes up over the mountain, everyone just claps. Brilliant. Massive applause.
There we are. I don't know. If anyone knows the answer, put it in the comments.
Correct, James. Well, you know the answer. What did you answer?
I don't know the answer.
You put that you're correct.
No, I think Miles is saying that I'm correct in my interpretation of his question.
You people are so hard.
I'll tell you what we'll do. Look, have we got this week's massive choppers?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's have massive choppers. We
That's
haven't
a much better idea.
done that for a while. Play the sting for massive choppers.
Hang on.
Now for something completely different.
Helicopter. I can't find it. Sylvester Stallone has got a huge chopper, but if you want to Google it, apparently the biggest chopper does belong to Willem Dafoe.
Well, yes, as we know that we've occasionally trespassed into areas such as the Mill 26 here on a massive choppers,
That's a big chopper.
where we've seen the Mill 26 lifting a Chinook.
Yes. Just grasp it as if it was nothing.
So I thought, in the middle of a departure for massive choppers, just like as Willem Dafoe has the largest.
Have we got Little Nelly? Have we got Little Nelly?
And
Is it Little
I've
Nelly?
been reading, by the way, about the mystery of Napoleon's chopper. That's apparently owned by a private collector in America, and is only an inch long. Oh no! Look, Carl's frozen. He's so.
Oh no!
Anyway, so this week I've chosen to go for the smallest chopper that I can find.
Is it Little Nelly?
No.
James, where have you gone? He's lost it, dear viewer. He's lost it. Just say the immortal words, James. Oh, he's gone.
Roll VT.
Thank goodness.
Its own category for the FAA. If aircraft falls into this category, there are a bunch of requirements it has to meet. These include being less than 254 pounds empty, having 5 gallons of fuel or less, and restricts where you can fly. And for the most part, it's going to only be low over unpopulated areas and only during the day, during clear weather. But the craziest part is you can actually fly this helicopter with no license. Yes, less than a license you would need to actually drive a car. You can fly this machine. However, so I'm sure you can realize this is a terrible idea. Normally to fly a helicopter, they require 40 hours of flight training in an actual helicopter to get a license. And even at that point, you're largely considered a novice. So in my opinion, nobody should be flying this helicopter without an actual helicopter license. However, legally, it's actually allowed, which is pretty wild. Anyways, back on track to the helicopter. So obviously, it has no canopy, which is the craziest feature about this helicopter. You are literally strapped into a seat and just hanging there in the open air, which I've got to imagine is a wild experience, and also just gives you the best visibility possible. I have to imagine flying around in this thing, you just feel like a superhero with the power to fly. So if that idea sounds cool to you, and you just really want an exhilarating experience with a helicopter, that might be one reason to check this one out. So the other really appealing thing about this helicopter is the cost. Because it is a small helicopter, it's no coincidence it's also the cheapest to own.
Are we able to stop it here? It's for me. It's worrying. There's nothing between you and the blades. There's absolutely nothing there at all. So, like, if you tipped it over, you'd fall into them and you'd be chopped through, wouldn't you? It's like utter lunacy to me.
He flipped the cone back over. He looked so pleased with himself, but I thought he was actually going to pick them both up with the front of the helmet.
The beauty of that Mosquito helicopter is it's only $20,000. You can drive it to the shops. And apparently, if you live in America, you don't need a license.
The presenter did sound very engaging. You know, he was thrilling to listen to. I'll give him that.
Oh, yeah, that was a podcast I found, and the uncontrollable euphoria of the narrator is what came across to me. But yes, to go back to Richard's point about Little Nelly, Little Nelly is in fact an auto gyro, which is not the same as a helicopter because the rotary wing is powered by the forward motion of the helicopter, not by any independent motor. So it can't hover.
Helicopter.
whereas the Mosquito can be used for picking up traffic cones.
Well, I'm glad we've cleared that up. And how are we tenuously linking that to Star Trek this week, James?
Let's move on.
We're moving on. That's fair enough.
Oh, I think I may have ruptured my thingy.
So, the Guinness record for the smallest is the Gen H4 and not Willem Dafoe.
Oh, right. Well, that's a small chopper then.
Gary would like to know if we can hire one for Manchester. No. For a start, I'm scared of heights.
Please do. I want to see Richard flip the cone back over. You could do a donation for a ride.
But if anyone is free for those dates for Manston, as many crewmen in uniform as we can get up there would be marvellous. And we must organise. We'll have a night out and everything together as well. So put those dates that Facebook user put up. I can't find it now. Oh God, it's July.
I laughed so hard I genuinely have hurt myself. Oh. Oh.
I can't find the dates.
15th and 16th of June, I think it was.
So yes, remember those
14th
dates.
and 15th.
If you can make it down to Margate, it'll be wonderful. We'll have a night out. We won't go to the Weatherspoons. We'll go somewhere nice. As entertaining as the Weatherspoons is for the nightly cabaret in Margate, we'll go somewhere nice. We'll have a night out.
Oh.
Well, we're at time now, gentlemen, as fun as this has been. So I hope you all enjoyed Lower Decks this week. I hope you all enjoyed the show. And most importantly, please do remember to look after yourselves and each other.
And always floss.
Actually, I can't floss. My teeth are too close together.